Congressman Tom Cole from Oklahoma. He serves on appropriations and budget committees, and more importantly in my world, he's a former pollster and a Republican strategist. So you're actually a member of Congress who might know a thing or two about the voters themselves, ITs. But Congressman, welcome, sir.
Hey, great to be with you, Chuck.
All right, let's start with the wrap-up business of the end of the year. It does seem as if we know what's going to happen. You guys in the House are going to pass. You're going to do the extension on the payroll tax holiday, do the unemployment insurance, but you're going to put in a few things in order to get enough Republican votes. The question is, how many do you put in that get taken out by the Senate? Give me your assessment.
You know, I think that's yet to be determined, quite honestly. I think the important thing for us is just to prove that somebody up here can actually be functional and pass a bill. Once we do that, I think the pressure moves over to the Senate. They're not moving a product, so it's more a matter of if we can pass our bill, why won't they at least put it on the floor and see how it does? But I've got a lot of confidence in Speaker Boehner. I think he's a very good negotiator. We all want to get to the same place. We want the payroll tax extended. We want the dock fixed. We want unemployment extended but reformed simultaneously. If we can do all those things and do it without raising taxes, which we believe we can do in the House, I think that's a very hard deal for the Democrats to resist.
Well, that's where you are, but it's fair to say that not the entire Republican conference is where you are when it comes to unemployment insurance, and actually even a few on the extending the payroll tax holiday.
No, there's a lot of angst about extending the payroll tax holiday, and I will be honest with you, I have doubts about that myself, but unlike in the past, this is actually being paid for. So I think at the end of the day, we'll have quite a bit of unity. But as you pull things out, obviously we lose votes, and if we have to do that to get Senate votes, then Democrats are going to have to swallow at least some things they don't like, and frankly they're going to have to put some votes on the table as well. So I think I can see the outline of a successful conclusion here. The appropriations negotiations, which are on a separate track, are actually going very, very well. So it's going to be messy, it's going to be a little tight, but at the end of the day I think we can get there.
It's one of those moments where it may be more functional than it looks. All right, let's go to the presidential race. Like I said, in a previous life, you were a strategist, a pollster, and all those things. Yeah, well, okay. Newt Gingrich might say that. That's how he feels about all consultants, all consultants these days. But all right, so you're looking at where the Republican electorate is. I thought the most significant poll number out of our state polls last week, and we got two more coming out this Sunday on Meet the Press from Florida and South Carolina, was how conservative Republicans viewed Mitt Romney. Large majorities of the Republican electorate are conservative. Large majorities believe he's not.
Yeah, well, it's a central challenge because you can just look back to '94 and clearly to be the presidential nominee of this party today, you've got to believe fundamentally different things than Mitt Romney believed in 1994-95. Now, I've seen conversions before, and people do think themselves into different positions. He's had quite a bit of executive experience since then that might lead him to approach things a little bit differently than he did as a Senate candidate. But that's an enduring problem. Look, he's done well in debates. He's laid out good conservative proposals. I think he's made some progress, but he hadn't quite made the sale yet. And at the end of the day, this is going to be a contest, and Newt Gingrich is very much in that contest as well. He can point to a record of significant conservative accomplishment during the 1990s. That's a huge asset to have created the first Republican majority, actually passed balanced budgets, actually reformed welfare. Those are things that really worked, very much to his advantage. And frankly, we all know, he's an awfully good debater. He's an awfully bright and able guy. It is interesting, I might say, that the two best debaters are now the two finalists. They're actually the candidates with the longest records. So,
what's your sense strategically of how there's this, I don't know what to call it. Do you call it a whisper campaign? Do you call it panic? In the sort of the Republican establishment class, even with the conservative elite, if you will, about the idea of Gingrich as nominee. If you're Mitt Romney, how do you harness it without looking like you're the insider?
Well, I think a lot of this stuff is inside baseball. A lot of it's personality-driven. Speaker, is a pretty polarizing figure on occasion, not just in the broad political sense, but personally. At least he was during the 1990s. I think from Mitt's standpoint, you just let this stuff boil and you make your case about you and about what you believe. And I'd try to keep it on the issues. Nobody in the Republican electorate cares very much about what people in Washington, D.C. think. Frankly, they've got a very low opinion of the Republican establishment, a very low opinion of the city. So the idea that anybody here is going to dictate what happens in the primary, I think, is just absolutely ridiculous.
You know, Mitt Romney, it appears that Team Romney wants to make temperament an issue, basically saying, and you heard John Sununu yesterday do this, the former New Hampshire governor, and you've heard it even in Romney's positive ads, steadiness, you know, things like that. Is that a fair shot at Speaker Gingrich? Well, I think all shots are fair in this business. There is such a thing as temperament. On the other hand, guys can be pretty mercurial and still be very effective politically. I always think of a guy like Winston Churchill, and people can reinvent themselves. Richard Nixon did multiple times. They can become different, at least politically. So you're really wondering, I think, and Republican voters are struggling with, is there a new and a different Newt? Has time in the wilderness, religious conversion, what have you, changed him, mellowed him, deepened him, made him a little bit wiser? And at the same time, you're wondering about Romney, are these conversions to conservative issues real? And so that's the real battle. Now, I think it's going to go on a long time. I don't expect either one of these guys to do a knockout punch, and that's going to give each one time to make their case. The June 12th Ohio primary. Maybe we'll all be there anyway. Tom Cole, Republican from Oklahoma, member of Congress, and you, I think, successfully did not alienate either Gingrich or Romney there.
I achieved my objective.
I'll try again next time. Thank you, sir. All right, up next, we're rounding out